When will chanting reveal your swarup?
When will chanting reveal our swarup? That's actually Bhaktivedanta Thakur has written a book, Sharanagati. We all know that. And almost the last song Bhaktivedanta Thakur mentions there, he speaks about holy name. And this song specifically, so what's the name of that song? I've already told. I think I just forgot the name of the song. But Bhaktivedanta Thakur mentions that Bhaktivedanta Thakur used to often quote that song to defeat Sahajas. Now your question is absolutely linked to, I mean to say, it's wrongly answered, it can go to Sahajism. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur speaks there, Hari Naam Dhare Katuval. He says how strong holy name is there, how much power holy name is there. And then he keeps and speaks and speaks and he says, my heart is like a desert and the holy name is like nectarian fountain, he speaks. But then he goes and comes to the point that when we chant holy name, the first holy name will reveal itself, its form, name and qualities. First holy name will reveal its swarup to us. Like sun dawns in the morning and we can see the sun. And when holy name reveals Krishna's swarup, and when Krishna is revealed in our heart, then when in that light, just like sun rises and then there's a light and then we can see everything. First Krishna reveals and then in that light, in that enlightenment, we can see ourselves, our own swarup. So Sahajas think the other way around. They think we chant, first our swarup will be revealed and then Krishna's swarup. But that's not going to happen. First Krishna's swarup will be revealed and then our swarup. And to reveal the Lord's swarup in holy name, you need love of God. Almost. At least you have to be on the level of bhava. So when we come at the level of bhava, then holy name reveals its form, name, qualities, and then our form is revealed. That's how Bhaktivedanta Thakur gives the logic. So that's why Bhaktivedanta Thakur says it's a bogus idea in Sahajiyas. They try to think my swarup is like this, and then they try to do sadhana. Bhaktivedanta says that's not the right thing. At the level of bhava, things begin. If you want to really ask me, it can also begin before bhava at the level of asakti, but technically it begins at the level of bhava. That's how it goes. At least according to Bhaktivedanta Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta. And it makes sense. Because without Krishna, we are unable to see anything. Without his help, we can't do anything.
So Prabhuji, I would like to ask, like in the sadhana stage, when we are not at the level of bhav or asakti, so while chanting, so what should we really think while chanting?
Well, some people say don't think anything. Just focus on sound vibration. Prabhupada said that, by the way. But that's a very initial type of instruction, just focus on sound vibration, because Prabhupada also said, like a child's cry for the mother.
And it's not possible to keep one emotion, means there are so many.
So the point is, while chanting you have to think many things. You don't have to think one thing. Otherwise, you'll not be able to focus on the holy name.
It's a dynamic.
Yeah, it's a dynamic. I mean to say it's very natural. I mean to say suppose if I want to see, so suppose if I'm seeing my hand. Now by seeing my hand, many thoughts are going to come in my mind, is it? Then only I can focus. If I just think my hand is like bright, and if I just think one thought, I'll not be able to hold it. So bhakti is a very dynamic process, not a static thing. So when we chant, we have to think many things. But the question is what we are supposed to think. What many things?
Like service.
Yeah, like for example, Prabhupada say you can think, okay, please Krishna engage me in your service, for example, one. Another thing you can think holy name and Krishna is same, non-different. Another thing you can think that Krishna is hearing my holy name. Another thing you can think, Krishna, please accept me, don't reject me. So like that, so it's a mix of thoughts which will help you to keep your mind on holy name. But you're not supposed to think of just like you told, you're not supposed to think of services you are doing.
Okay.
That's not the idea. Like you're chanting, okay, so in the morning I cooked nicely for Krishna, and then I did some grooming. No, that's a distraction.
And how about Leela Smaran? Some people say you can think about Leela, Krishna Leela while chanting.
No, that's what I say. These pastimes and form and qualities, that will reveal itself at the level of bhava or asakti. Before that, you're not supposed to
So
do
you
that.
don't have to look at a picture and chant.
No, never. That devotees do, isn't it? They keep one picture and then they're chanting Hare Krishna. Or, even worse than that, devotees keep Hare Krishna printed thing, Mahamantra, and then Hare Krishna, they're singing and singing. That's absurd. No Acharya recommends that. But let me confess, Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about this in Bhajan Rahasya. He just comments and passes by, and he says, if you cannot focus on holy name and you are really going mad, then you can keep a picture and chant.
So maybe for like new people, it's okay.
Yeah, for new people who are mad, not just new people who are like going crazy and bonkers. For them, he says, and this is absolutely not ideal. This is just, in Hindi we call it jugaad, jugaad, I don't know what, so makeshift things, just adjustment. You're not supposed to do anything like this.
But then a question arises, like if we are able to fix our mind while looking at a picture of Krishna or keeping Mahamantra in front of us, and if it is working, if it seems to be working, then shouldn't we,
Well, there are many things in your life which seems to be working, but it's wrong.
What's the philosophical flaw in this?
Well, the flaw is, if you're seeing the picture and you're chanting, then you're doing two things at the same time. You are seeing and you're chanting, so that's a problem. Seeing the deity picture is smaranam. You're seeing and remembering that form, is it? You're holding that form in your mind. You're trying to do that, is it? And another activity you're doing is you're chanting. So there are two activities happening simultaneously. And that's not allowed. You're supposed to do one thing at one time. Only kirtanam. And another flaw is if you're seeing the picture and you're chanting, then you might be really, it's nice, you can think of Krishna, it's nice, but the whole point is, that's what I'm saying, you shift from kirtanam to smaranamang.
Okay.
And another problem is you will never know that your mind has come under control. You will never know that. Because you're seeing and you're enjoying and you're chanting, so you think, okay, everything is all right, but everything is not all right.
Well, that means we are concentrating on the form and not the holy name.
Yeah. You're concentrating on the form and not on the holy name. So that's a whole problem.
Does that mean we cannot sit in front of altar and chant? Because that time also we are looking at the form of the Lord.
You can sit and chant, but that's not the ideal.
Oh, this is the first time I've heard such a...
Yeah, people sit in front of the altar and they chant and see the deities and chant, is it? They do that? That's not the ideal thing.
I think Prabhupada also said once that sitting in the temple I think he said sitting in front of the altar, or he said sitting in the temple hall, the chanting is 1,000 times more effective.
Well, that's because atmosphere is good. That's a different kind of thing. And the environment is conducive in the temple hall. It's not, but no acharyas recommend. To say Prabhupada never sat in front of deities and he's chanting and seeing the deities. It never did that.
Prabhupada is chanting in front of 𝗙𝗪𝗪.
Yeah, 𝗙𝗪𝗪 is okay. We are chanting not in front of 𝗙𝗪𝗪, we are chanting with 𝗙𝗪𝗪, is it? We are sitting and chanting, and the potency by the blessing of 𝗙𝗪𝗪, we can chant nicely, that's all. But seeing the deity and chanting, that's a very different thing, is it?
Well, some people are staring at 𝗙𝗪𝗪 and chanting.
They want to eat it all. This is crazy stuff. Doesn't happen like that. That's not the idea. But the process is chant the holy names with right attitude. Prabhupada says attitude is the key.
Means if such is the case with the form, then we cannot think anything about Krishna while chanting, because
you're not supposed to think anything about Krishna. You're simply
you're just listening to holy name.
You are supposed to think about concepts.
Okay.
and not the form and qualities of Krishna. The concept, the philosophical concepts we have to think now. The concept, holy name is Krishna himself. Krishna is hearing. And that's the idea. That's called attitude.
But then, if sorry, please.
Yeah.
What about praying to the holy name? Some people say you have to pray
Yeah,
to
praying.
them.
Okay, fine. Concepts and prayers. If you want to add that, that's okay.
But then if we say that we can do prayers while chanting, then that means we are thinking about the merciful aspect of Krishna.
Yeah, so that
is the
that's a
quality,
concept.
That's a quality.
That's a concept.
That includes the quality of the Guru.
It can be, qualities can come in between, but never the form and pastime.
Okay.
Never the form and the pastime. Don't do that. You can pray, you can think about philosophical concepts and think about qualities of Krishna. That's okay.
Where do you
To a
get
certain
these
extent.
prayers from? Because some people say you have to pray about making sure you do 10,000 books. And
What's that? 10,000 books?
yeah, distribute. I want to distribute thousands of books, so you have to pray for this while you're chanting.
Chanting? I don't know, that's a new concept. I mean to say, then other devotee can say, okay, I'm chanting and praying, I want to open 10,000 temples. Another devotee will say, okay, I'm chanting and praying, I want to make nice things for Krishna. So it's all a distraction, it doesn't happen like that. If you want to pray, you want to distribute books, then you can pray, and there's an altar, and there are
But
things.
not while chanting.
While chanting, you have to do. While chanting is holy name and you. That's all. That's it. And acharyas have recommended us what to think. They've recommended us what to think. Just about I told just now. The main thing is, first we have to make a foundation, holy name and Krishna is one. If that foundation is weak, nothing comes forward. If we are doing so many other things and the foundation is weak, nothing will happen. We don't advance.
So how do you practically apply this? You just think holy name is one, holy name is one. You just keep thinking this again and again while you're chanting?
No. Practically apply is, when you chant, you have to hold the thought in your mind that this is Krishna himself. But you don't have to repeat, Krishna and holy name is one, Krishna is holy name, then it's again a distraction. You have to hold that thought in your mind.
While you're chanting,
Yeah.
hold that thought.
Hold that thought that I am with Krishna. That's the whole point, bas. That this holy name which is entering my ear, it is Krishna himself. And we hold that thought, that slowly we'll realize, this is truth. It's not a imagination, hallucination, or some forced thing, brainwashing, it's not like that. That's how it goes.
Many devotees ask whether they can chant within their mind. So what do you have to say about it?
They can chant within the mind. I mean to say, chanting within the mind is not wrong, because Haridas Thakur, he used to chant 3 lakh names.
Yeah.
Chaitanya Charitamrita says 1 lakh loudly, 1 lakh softly, 1 lakh in the mind. It says. But our acharyas have not recommended to chant in the mind, because that's a difficult thing. Anyway, mind is distracted. How do you do that? So it's better to chant what acharyas recommended, speak softly and chant. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada also said 16 rounds on the beads and numerous rounds off the beads. Prabhupada also said, if you're walking, you can just sing in your mind and chant in your mind. But when you're chanting your rounds, which are officially, fixed rounds, 16 rounds, then chant nicely, then speak and chant. It's a good idea to do that as a practice. Even I think Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he writes that speaking and chanting is much more powerful than chanting in your mind.
Speaking and chanting, what does that mean?
Speaking and chanting means you
Audible.
like you speak and hear and chant like that.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant having a conversation and chant, and while in between conversation. Some people do like this. They actually.
That thing is also like stupidity, We speak somebody and then chant, and they speak somebody and then chant. Well, you know what Srila Prabhupada actually once mentioned, one devotee pointed to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was like chanting. Prabhupada always has bead bag in his hand,
Yes.
And some guest was there and he was talking, and then guest went and he started chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then guest asked some question, and then there was a pause, Prabhupada chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and then Prabhupada answered. So that devotee told Prabhupada, what kind of chanting is this? You're speaking and chanting. So Prabhupada says, well, that's practice. I'm practiced. So I can speak and I can also chant in between. And my mind is completely focused on chanting. But Prabhupada said that, Prabhupada, it's there. And Prabhupada said, yes, that's possible. But at the same time, we are not supposed to do like that as a practitioner, devotee who already, our minds are distracted and, we speak and in between chant and then speak, and that's not what we should not do. Neither Prabhupada recommended it. Prabhupada said it's possible when somebody asked him. Prabhupada didn't recommend it, and that's very important. Acharyas can do something, but if they don't recommend it, don't try to do that. So that's how we fix that thing.
Many devotees are using this the digital
digital click.
Yeah. So means I'm very doubtful. What should be the
clickers? You see, the best is beads. Clickers are not at all recommendable. But at the same time, in this modern age, people who go to offices and what do you do? I mean to say, if there is no option at all, then you can recommend, okay, click, and chant, click and chant. There's no other way. There are. I know many devotees who are like very poor, and they have to work 24 by 24. They have to be outside and work, and they can't maintain families. And they say, then what to do, Prabhuji? I can't carry bead bag. One devotee was a sweeper. Like he has to sweep, all day, and he was saying, I can't even hold the bead bag because I'm sweeping. So what to do? Then finally I told, okay, keep a clicker in that case. So there are some special cases which you can recommend. Or maybe another case I'll tell you. One devotee got a fracture in right hand. So what to do? So left hand you are supposed to do with 𝗙𝗪𝗏 bead bag chanting. No, you can't touch 𝗙𝗪. So what to do? So I told, okay, fine, in that case take a clicker and click. So there are some cases, one-to-one basis where you can recommend clicker, but it's not a policy. We don't do that, and neither we should sell clickers in the shop and make it a policy and give devotees. That's a very bad idea to do that, which is happening.
As much as possible, we should chant on beads.
Always on beads. That's all exception.
And it has to be inside the bead bag, the beads. Or can you chant?
Why? It's sometimes people give outside or what?
Yes.
Who was this? Beads should always be inside the bead bag, because it is said in scriptures, if beads are outside the bead bag and you're chanting, ghostly entities, they take all the benefit of chanting.
But I'm chanting, why ghost is coming?
How?
I'm chanting, why ghost is going to disturb me if I'm chanting holy name?
Well, holy name, we are chanting holy name, so ghost is also coming to chant your holy name. He also wants to chant holy name. It is said, mantras which are chanted outside bead bag, it becomes powerless.
Even holy name?
But there's a catch here. It's for general mantras, holy name, it doesn't matter, because you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Jharkhand forest, was chanting on his fingers, dancing and chanting on his fingers. Holy name, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. But why we chant why we put beads in the bead bag? Because that's a process recommended by our acharyas, and we have to respect that process.
Okay.
So as a matter of respect, we do. Otherwise, fine, chanting holy names anyway, that's okay. But at the same time, if we don't respect the process mentioned in the Vedas and our preceding acharyas, then it creates an offense. Not because we have taken bead bag outside, but because we have neglected to respect scriptures and their talks, and that will impede our devotion. Just like deity worship also. You see, deity worship, ultimately deity worship, if you're chanting holy names, no offense is considered. If you're doing deity worship, all offenses can be countered in deity worship chanting by chanting holy names. Prabhupada Swami mentions in that 𝗪𝗛𝗪. He says any offense while doing deity worship, if you chant Hare Krishna, Govinda, Govinda, all offenses are liquefied. So do we have to not follow a process? Or if that's the case, then why do we follow the process? Then we can do anything. But nevertheless, we follow the process. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, still you should follow the process to respect Vedas. That's the whole idea. And if you don't do that, then offenses will be liquefied, that's okay. Because Acharya is saying, but you will get another offense of disrespecting Vedas. And that will impede your devotion. So that's the whole thing. So you don't get the offense per se of that activity, but you get another offense of disrespecting. And that's the whole problem. Shruti Shastra Nindanam. What's that in English? Blaspheming the Vedic literatures and the literatures in pursuance of Vedic version. That then you implicate in that fourth offense. That's the whole problem. So, that's it. We'll end up here.
Just last question, that is, you just revealed just a totally new point. You told that our chanting, we usually chant to get association of holy name and get all auspiciousness. But that day you mentioned that our chanting can be a disturbance also.
Our chanting can be a disturbance?
To Lord Krishna.
Yeah,
so
our chanting can be
just clarify that.
Our chanting can disturb him also. We have to keep in mind, I mean to say, if we don't chant with proper intention, proper attitude, it can really disturb him. It's just like, I'll tell you one thing, just like you love somebody and then you are staying with that person and everything is pleasing what he does or she does. But after some time, that person can be really disturbing in your life, isn't it? If they don't act what you expected. Am I right? So that's the same thing. The holy name and Krishna and us, it's a relationship. We are entering a relationship with Krishna. And our chanting pleases him, but if we don't chant in the manner what he expects, then it will be disturbing to him. Just like person we love, if we don't behave in the manner we expected, then it will be really frustrating and disturbing for us. So, and that's the point of offenses, by the way. Mm-hmm. If you chant offensively, then you're not chanting in a manner what Krishna expects, and it's a disturbing thing for him. It's a headache for him. Your chanting can become a headache for Krishna. And then Krishna will say, better stop chanting. That's my advice. Don't. Because you see, as soon as you say Hare Krishna, Krishna's attention is on you. That's obvious. If you take my name, Keshav Anand, immediately my mind goes towards you. Mm-hmm. But if you're a messed up devotee, then I become disturbed.
I thought the whole point of chanting holy name is so Krishna doesn't think on you.
No, yeah, but that's a different point. But devotees don't have this attitude, no? That's the whole point there. That's the whole point. When we chant, Krishna's attention comes on you. But our job as a servant is to remove the attention of Krishna from us and bring it on his devotees, especially on Radha. That's why we chant Hare Krishna. When we say Krishna, Krishna thinks of you. And then we say Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then Krishna thinks of Radha and we are happy. Okay, that's okay. So it's all the thing. But if we are messed up devotee, then he becomes disturbed. He says, what's happening here? What is he doing?
That's a lot of depth.
Yeah, see, the point is we are servants. That's the whole trick in chanting. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀. We are servants. If we chant in service attitude, then we feel bliss. Anything 0.01% less than service attitude, it will just create a mess in your life and mess in the life of Krishna. It will become a burden on him.
How do we know while chanting, like whether Krishna is happy with us? Or
well, if Krishna is happy, you will become happy. If super soul is happy, soul is happy. It's all connected.
If you're feeling bliss, that means we are not speculating.
If you're feeling bliss, then you're feeling bliss. That's all. Then if you're happy, then Krishna is happy. But if you're frustrated, then Krishna is frustrated.
Like many devotees see deities of Krishna and they
feel bliss.
Does that mean they are...
That's one thing. I mean to say, that's another thing. If you can feel bliss at mental platform also.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly.
And you can imagine you are feeling bliss. But now that's another thing. You have to distinguish between true bliss and illusory bliss. That's what you were talking?
Yeah.
Abhas and reality. So if you are becoming happy, then okay, there are two options. Either Krishna is becoming happy, or you're becoming mentally, you are emotionally surcharged and imagining something, you are happy.
So how do we
on mental platform?
Yeah.
Maybe you are becoming happy because of the music, or you're becoming happy because you're chanting and you're fresh, and that freshness is giving you happiness, something, or you have achieved a good concentration and then you are becoming happy. Yes, I have achieved a good concentration. So there can be a lot of factors. That's a mental happiness. So how do you distinguish between those two things? That's the question, is it? And it's very simple. If Krishna is becoming happy, then you become happy. Evam prasana manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata. After that, bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangha jayate. If that's a real bliss, then with that real bliss you will also experience peace and complete satisfaction. A feeling will come that I don't need anything in my life. It's done. No, not shunyayatam. I don't need anything in my life. This moment is complete.
Okay.
It's complete. Even if whole world goes to hell, it doesn't matter. Whatever happened doesn't matter. It is the end of my life. There's nothing greater than this, what Krishna says. There's nothing greater than to be achieved. That satisfaction is there and peace is there. Your mind cannot go into material things at that point of time. It cannot be bewildered by material things. It cannot be put into anxiety by material things. If those two things are happening, it's true bliss. True bliss is accompanied by peace and satisfaction. False bliss is not accompanied by peace and satisfaction. That's how you know. And if it is a really concentrated true bliss, then you will remember his pastimes and form.
And will it continue, means even after chanting, that bliss?
But you see, one thing I'll tell you, interesting thing. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna never mentions that chanting will lead you to, chanting will spontaneously reveal form and pastimes, no?
Yeah.
There's no words there. Why is that? Because holy name revealing pastimes and form, that's not the evidence that our chanting is correct. It can be confusing also. We can imagine also simultaneously, is it? Krishna in Gita has all mentioned those evidences which are 100% proof. So he says, if you're chanting properly, you'll get peace and satisfaction. That's what he says, is it? That's the only evidence which you can know. It's whether it's true or reality or illusion. That's how it goes. Yeah. Is it?
Helpful.
Okay, so we are going to end up here.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.